What is good, everyone? This is the Common Critic on the Fed by Ravens Media Network, coming at you live from our studio in Ogden, Utah. As always, I'm Brandon, joined with me, Cody, and we're putting out a want ad for our new host. Unfortunately, Dallas will not be joining us anymore. He has accepted what are we going to call it, a new job or just a job extension?
A job that
his job moved him to Montana.
Moved him to Montana, so he's not going to be able to be with us any longer. Makes us sad.
We are taking applications. Yes.
Yeah, if you want to.
You have to be here in person on time, and you have to know what you're talking about.
And you have to have somewhat of a personality.
Yeah, you have to have a personality. You have to be funny. Not that I'm saying we're necessarily comedians, but I would say
we are hilarious.
We are hilarious,
yes.
We are talking Jungle Cruise today, featuring The Rock and Emily Blunt. We weren't originally going to do this, but then we found ourselves kind of with no choice but to do it.
Yeah.
It wasn't on the schedule, like we had it in mind, right?
Yeah.
We're like,
it was on the back burner.
Yeah, it was like a fall back on, which we ended up needing to fall back on because for 2 weeks in a row we screwed up seeing Old, and somehow
I still want to watch it.
I still want to watch it too, but no, we've just been busy and stuff, and Jungle Cruise just happened to become easy. More people wanted in our families, I think, wanted to see Jungle Cruise more than Old.
Yeah.
And then we didn't have the free time to go see it ourselves.
There was a couple of, why aren't we doing Jungle Cruise? Why are you doing Jungle Cruise? I'm like, fine, we'll do Jungle Cruise.
People really saying that? I believe it,
Yeah. And I was like, because I really didn't want to watch it, to be honest.
No, you didn't.
Yeah.
No, you didn't. You were kind of dreading it.
Yeah.
Almost. I was like, I knew I would see it, but I was like, if we miss it because we're doing something else for the podcast, that's fine. Like
Old.
Yeah. Eventually. Can't do it next week because we're doing Suicide Squad next week.
Yes.
And that one,
looking forward to that one.
There's no excuse to not see it because we'll have it on HBO Max at least.
At least.
But I still want to see it in theaters.
Yes, Dallas did. No, man.
I
do want to see it in theaters, so.
No, absolutely.
We'll have to figure that out.
But look, Jungle Cruise, it's killing it at the box office right now. It's far exceeded expectations. The expectations was a $15 to $20 million opening at the box office. It's hit $35 million on the box office and an extra $30 million from Disney Plus.
Wow.
Not a bad turnaround for something like this. Pandemic still going on. And,
Yeah, I'm surprised people pay that money. I mean, I just did. I'm kind of sad about it. I paid the $30 for Premier Access on Disney Plus. Is that does that not seem?
Here's the thing:
too much money.
No, I don't think so. Okay. I'm going to defend the 30.
Maybe it's because
that's how much I spend at the theaters, anyways. Okay, so look, this is my daughter.
My whole family watched this, so that would have been more than $30 at the theater.
Well, look, my daughter's a little over 2, and we took her to this. She is 2, has very little understanding, but she loved it. Was glued to the screen the entire time. She didn't really move from her seat. She got her snacks, didn't get up, didn't cry, didn't complain, nothing. Watched the whole movie, right? So me, my wife, my kid, that's 3 tickets. That's already $30 plus.
Right.
So, I mean, I don't think the Premier Access is that.
Okay. All right.
And now you could watch it again and again.
Because I was just going to go watch it myself. I felt a little weird about doing that with Jungle Cruise. I don't know why.
Something
like I would have been fine doing it with Old, but with Jungle Cruise, that's kind of like
something about Disney films like this. Even if they're PG-13, going as a grown man and seeing it by yourself is still a little weird.
Because I went and looked at the seats and stuff to see what was available, and there's like I could tell it was like groups,
like families of 4 and stuff. Yeah,
I didn't want to be the creeper guy in the back just watching Jungle Cruise.
No, definitely not. Well, before we get to rating, let me ask you this. How old are your 2 oldest? They're
9 and 6.
9 and 6. What did they think of it?
So I asked them in preparation,
of course,
for today. They liked it. They didn't give me a rating or anything.
Of course, yeah.
My 6-year-old really liked it, Madison, and my 9-year-old said he liked it. So, but they were both
liked it. Yeah.
They were both tired after the movie, so I don't know. I don't know if they said they liked it just because they liked it or I don't know, because Dad was going to go do a podcast about it. Yeah.
Do you think it's, in your opinion as a father, do you think it'd be something they may watch again on their own? Do you think it'd be something to be like, oh, let's put on Jungle Cruise for dinner or something like that?
No, I think they'll pick something else.
You think they'd pick something else? All right, I think that's fair.
Yeah. That's me knowing my kids. I don't know. I'm not speaking for everybody else's kids, but yeah.
Because one thing I want to say is I'm not going to pretend this is something it isn't.
Okay.
That's
good.
It may be PG-13. It may be a little scary, but this is definitely made for, we'll say, like the 9 to 11-year-olds almost. Right?
Yeah.
There's some like, okay, obviously throwing a bone to the adults who see this, but I think it's definitely more geared towards children.
Yeah.
I'm not going to pretend like that wasn't always in mind.
I'm confused about that part. Because mostly when it's geared towards children, you have children in the movie. Mm-hmm. That's what kind of confused me. That's one gripe I have, I guess, is maybe they could have thrown in a child character of some sorts of that age, 10 to 14 or something like that, instead of her brother. Maybe she had a daughter or something like that.
I agree. So, I mean, we'll see. That could be some of the things that take away scores for myself or something. Without saying too much, I enjoyed it. I was surprised. I thought it would be a decent movie. Like, oh yeah, that seems like a typical Rock movie. Mm-hmm. Yeah. All right. Yeah, this is. Yeah. I see why The Rock took this role. But I would say I went in with pretty low expectations and came out pleasantly surprised.
I went in with really low expectations and just.
Well,
I wasn't pleasantly surprised. I was accurate in my prediction.
Were you?
Yeah, I felt like.
All right. Well, tell us the score.
I feel bad. I feel like I'm always giving low scores. That's why I'm like.
I have a question about your scores after you.
Okay. All right. I'm going 4.5.
That's a good thing I didn't drink my water right as you said that. Oh my gosh, 4.5?
Yeah.
So barely above Wonder Woman 1984.
No, I give Wonder Woman like a 3.
Okay, yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
But
it takes a lot from go 4.5 to a 3.
Yeah. 4.5.
I think we all misscored our Wonder Woman 84. I think all of us could redo it. I think we'd go down even lower. So
why 4.5 though for Jungle Cruise?
It started out strong. I was at a 7 for like the first 45.
It started out very strong.
Yes. And it slowly just kept dwindling and dwindling for me. And it was too long. I needed to be about a half hour shorter.
I say about 20 minutes shorter, yeah.
And it just too much similarities between different movies, between I could see The Mummy, Pirates of the Caribbean, Jumanji. I just feel like rather just watch those than I would rather watch this. It became flat.
No, I agree with you.
I wasn't excited. I was excited at the beginning.
Yeah.
Like, wow, this is going well.
Yes.
It was promising, and then it just fell flat for me.
I agree. For the most part, I agree with what you're saying. Probably not on the same level as the way you're expressing it, though.
Okay. Obviously.
I'm gonna give it an 8. Oh. And I look forward to watching this again, but I don't look forward to watching the last half hour again.
Okay, but you're gonna watch it again.
I would watch it again. My daughter liked it. I thought it was funny. You got to understand. I grew up going to Disneyland twice a week. My mom works there. My sister is very high up there. Yeah. Right. Jungle Cruise was always one of my favorites because it's the one where you sit in the shade and you get jokes told to you. Yeah. Right. Fun fact. One time on the Jungle Cruise, our boat ran out of gas. We had to be rescued. Dead serious. True story. 100%. No one believes. Pierce Brosnan was on the boat with us as we got stuck. We were on the back of the Jungle Cruise for like a half hour, and I was sitting 2 shoulder lengths away from
James Bond.
Yes.
That's James amazing.
Bond. It was crazy. And I didn't realize it until we were getting rescued. The rescue boat came to rescue us, and our captain's like, I'm going to have James Bond kill you. I'm like, what is this guy talking about? I looked down. Pierce Brosnan.
You're like, that's not James Bond. That's Stuart from Mrs. Doubtfire. Yeah. Or Stu.
Stu, yeah. But look, I say the first 2 acts are very strong, right?
For an 8, though? Oh, my heavens. I love how they're so different.
Yeah. First act is like, it's the fun, it's the setup, it's the Indiana Jones feel, because they straight up ripped off the museum scene from, what is that, Last Crusade, right? I put on our Instagram the recipe for the Jungle Cruise. It goes 1 cup Indiana Jones, 2 cups Pirates of the Caribbean, a 1/4 cup classic Disney ride, 3 tablespoons of The Rock, 2 tablespoons of Emily Blunt, and then a pinch of Clever Twist.
Yeah.
Right? Mm-hmm. And that's the recipe for the Jungle Cruise, right?
Yeah.
Look, am I going to pretend this is going to win Oscars? No, it's not going to get nominated, right? No one's... Man.
An 8, though?
Yeah, I'm from that.
That is on level with Loki and Wanda.
No, Loki was 8.9. They were both 8.9s.
Okay.
Right, there is a difference between those two, right?
Yeah.
But
you said you had a question about my scoring.
Yes,
okay.
I did, and now that you bring it up, I remember now. Do you rate all movies the same? Do you have criteria? Now, all movie, or do you? Because the way I rate it is based sort of on genre.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
I will never compare Jungle Cruise to something like Citizen Kane or Pulp Fiction or whatever, right? So while Pulp Fiction and Jungle Cruise to me both might be 8s, they're very different in what I'm looking for, right? Clearly Pulp Fiction is far better, but in the genre,
I don't think I've ever thought about it.
I always rate movies differently.
That's a good point. I mean, I guess I could. I don't know how I think I've just gone off feeling and how I enjoyed the movie. I don't think it has to do with the genre specifically. So
I always keep genre in mind. I think that's why, because I always go, all right, what movie am I going into? I'm going into a movie with The Rock about a Disney ride in ancient
So
flowers.
With that being said, I guess if I was going to go, so would you put this in the same genre as like Pirates of the Caribbean?
Maybe not necessarily the first Pirates of the Caribbean, but maybe some of the later ones. I would put it in a similar genre to Indiana Jones, even though those are better ones, but maybe something like, you remember Lone Ranger?
Mm-hmm. So more campy.
Yeah, more campy, more fun. I'm trying to think of a good modern movie to relate it to. Maybe I'll think of it later.
Yeah, because when I was watching, I was feeling more like it was the Pirates of the Caribbean towards the end.
Yeah.
Like Dead Man's Chest and all those other ones. On Stranger Tides.
It's definitely got which is like the.
But I would rather watch those more than this one for sure. Yeah, no. I was disappointed.
See, here's the thing. I thought
the CGI was not good.
CGI was awful.
Yeah,
awful. Let me tell you some big things I like about it.
Okay,
the comedy.
We'll probably agree with it.
Yeah,
we'll probably agree, but just our scores are different.
I thought it was hilarious. There were at least 6 or 7 times where I physically laughed out loud.
I'm probably 4 or 5.
That's fair.
Yeah. The dad jokes were great.
Hilarious.
Yeah.
Right. 2, I love The Rock and Emily Blunt together.
Okay. I agree.
They were great. 2, I kind of like the twists. Or 3, the twist, right? 1, The Rock is one of the conquistadors, but he's like the good one.
Yeah, that was good.
And 2, I like that the conquistadors were kind of these almost sympathetic villains and why they were originally going to...
For his daughter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, I wish they would have been redeemed. That's a big criticism of mine, for them to be tortured, being sucked up.
So why don't you knock it down more?
Because it's not something that bothers me that much.
Okay.
Honestly, I'm getting nitpicky here.
No, that's fine.
Let me tell you the best part about this movie, though, is whatever that Metallica cover was. How ballsy of Disney to do a Metallica cover.
Started up.
Something like this. Yeah, and they do it twice in the movie.
It started off like Metallica. And that seems...
When I first heard it, I was all like, oh, man, they're getting real close to copyright because this sounds an awful lot like Metallica. And then I'm like, wait a second.
That is Metallica.
This is. Yeah. And that whole scene where they're burning the village to it and stuff, I loved it. I was like, this is good storytelling. This is a good twist. This is good elements to add for character development, why you feel the way you do for the bad guys and Frank's position, right? Now you realize that why he is who he is, why he's so carefree.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, that was a good twist. I'll agree with you.
I loved it. I really thought it was fantastic. They didn't spoil it even remotely in the trailers.
No.
Rare nowadays.
Yes, very rare. Because we'll get into trailers later. But, yeah, I mean, like I said, I think we agree on most things. It's just different, different scoring, I guess.
And look, when they actually get to the tree, lost me. Too dark, too much, just...
Yeah,
feels thrown together. Feels like the end of a group project. You have a great beginning, but then you realize you goofed off with your friends too much, and now you got to actually put a project together.
That seems about right. That's probably what happened in the making of this.
Yeah, Because I'll be honest with you, I told you this. I started at a 10 and worked my way down. It was probably at that Metallica scene where I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm going to have to give this a 10 because I'm enjoying this so much. Love the brother. Dude, I thought the brother was a great... Can you imagine if I came out here with a 10 for Jungle Cruise? No way, that's ridiculous. But
I think I would take my headphones off right now.
You would just walk out. Then I would have to find 2 new people to do the podcast with.
I'd be back next week. It's this fun.
You just... No, I'm done. I'm not dealing with you. Yeah, we have very 2 different ways of thinking. Yeah, it's good.
Yeah. We are the common critics, so that's good. I think this movie is that polarizing. From all the reviews and everything I've read, I feel like it's either you like it or you don't like it.
It's sitting at about a 7 on IMDb, which is the middle ground for IMDb.
Yeah.
Usually on IMDb, if it's a 5, it's garbage. Everybody hates it. If it's a 9, it's like really,
really good.
Yeah. So I think we're fair in this because I've seen a lot of reviews. I'm very heavy interacting on our Instagram, right? And I see a lot of what other people are saying. And it's just that I see a lot of people giving out 4, 5, and 6s, and I've seen a few people give out the 7, 8s, and 9s. Right?
We're 6.25 for us.
I'm going to call it a 6.3.
Okay,
that's what I'm going to call it.
I'll give it to you.
I think that's totally fair. Yeah. I really think that is.
Yeah.
If we had a third one person here, who knows which way?
Oh, Dallas would be right between.
Dallas would have been right in between anyway, so he probably would have had the 6.3.
Yeah.
Anyways,
he probably would have given it a 6 or something.
But I mean, I got to ask you this: are they setting themselves up for a sequel? The answer is no, they didn't set themselves up for a sequel. I guess the better question is do you think they're going to do it anyways?
I don't think so. Would they? I mean, I think they've had success at the box office and with Disney Plus, it sounds like. But, I mean, it's not like it's multi-millions. You think it'll reach over, I'd say, 250 million?
I could see it if it wasn't.
Because this had a $200 million budget or something like that.
No, it didn't. It had a lot less than that, I believe.
Oh, look it up.
Jamie
checked that out.
Yeah, Jamie pulled that up. Young Jamie, best in the business. I always say that. Let's see. Jungle Cruise.
That was coming off hearsay, so that's not official.
Oh, you're right. 200 million.
Okay.
So it's got a ways to go, but it's total grossing right now. It's at 100 million.
Okay.
So it's about halfway there. If it wasn't pandemic, I would say 2 weekends and they make up their money and then some probably.
Yeah. So
it's The Rock money. The Rock, he brings in a crowd, man.
So does Emily Blunt. She does well.
Yes, she does. Look, I would say this is one of The Rock's better recent roles. Yeah. This felt more natural.
To him? For him, you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think this was more his style of comedy and more the character he could get into. A little more the carefree, but like always in control, right?
Just his physical presence is just, it's hard to get over sometimes. Like, would he really be a boat captain or a conquistador? Because you look at all the other people with him, they're like skinny and you know what I mean?
Yeah. And
so it was hard for me. Not hard, but it's like, do you really see him as being a conquistador kind of guy?
No, but I couldn't tell you what the average conquistador looked like anyway. So maybe they look like him.
And the other ones are wrong. I'm just saying comparative to his other conquistador brothers, right?
You and I are both Daniel Tosh fans.
Yes.
Right? Daniel Tosh has a segment called Is It Racist? Let's ask this. Dwayne Johnson is Samoan, right?
Yes.
But since he's dark skinned, they automatically had him play like a Spanish conquist.
Yeah.
Is it racist?
I don't know.
No, I don't know either. That's what I thought.
That's a question for Disney.
When they said he was a conquistador, I'm like, but it's The Rock. And he's definitely not. Latino.
Yeah, there's a lot of people that speak English in Brazil.
Yeah.
Apparently, according to Disney.
Well, a lot of Germans coming over, as we see in the film. You know where those Germans like to escape to, right?
That was. I'm not sure how I feel about that yet.
Here's the most messed up.
I do like that actor. I can't think of his name.
Jesse Plemons from Breaking Bad.
He's great.
He is great.
And Paul Giamatti. That was a nice surprise.
Perfect amount of him.
I wanted more. I always want more. But I always want more Paul Giamatti. I could see that,
but I could see where he's like, all right, that's just fine. You don't want to rely on him the whole time. Are you ready for the most messed up thing I'm going to say on this podcast? We're going to get canceled because of this. Poor Jesse Plemons has gained so much weight since Breaking Bad. At first, I didn't recognize him.
Oh, really?
Dude, I was like, is that?
Well, he was really young, too. I mean,
he was really young.
He's playing a high school kid. You know what I mean? So.
Yeah, but I was like, I honestly couldn't tell it was him.
He was on Friday Night Lights, too, wasn't he?
I believe so.
Yeah. Anyway, sorry.
But, you know, he was all right. He was probably one of the more forgettable. Him and the Conquistadors look not strong villains. That's fine.
That doesn't bring it down for you.
No, because I see more the villain of the movie, the antagonist, more of like actually getting to the adventure, right? The trials of the jungle.
That's right. So I guess that brings up the other point is I feel like it's thin. I feel like with the Conquistadors, with the Germans, with the river, I mean, going down the river itself is pretty treacherous.
Yes, treacherous. That's a good word for it.
So I feel like it was too much. I feel like it should have been one or the other.
They should have either had the Conquistadors or the Germans.
Yeah. I felt like it was.
You know what they should have done?
Really need the Germans?
No, you don't need the Germans. What you need is just Paul Giamatti going after the Rock the whole time to get his boat back. That's all you need. And then the Conquistadors actually here.
Yeah. And then Paul Giamatti just freaks out and runs away.
Yeah, just something easy, and they're friends again at the end of the movie. That's fine.
Yeah,
right?
See,
focus more on that.
I felt like it was too much.
I liked the Conquistadors for the most part. I'm not too big of a fan that they all have their different powers or whatever.
Curses or powers,
Curses. If you wanted to give them all the same, like, that's fine. Like, oh, they were all curses. But a mud man, a bee man, the snake guy, just a little too much.
Yeah.
Right? The tree guy, come on.
Yeah.
You don't need to do that. But again, is it bothering me enough that I'm really going to dent the score? No.
It should.
It should. It should. You're right. It should, but it's not going to.
Okay. All right. I was hoping one day I will get you down after you tell me a score.
I've come down before.
Have you?
On scores.
Like a point? Like.
No. Oh, what was it? Without Remorse. I think you brought me down quite a bit. You brought me down 2 points on Without Remorse.
What's Without Remorse?
Without Remorse, the Tom Clancy.
Oh, yeah.
You know, the one. It doesn't matter. It's still forgettable.
Right? Yeah. Well, that's good. At least I did it once.
Yeah. So, but anyways, are you firm on your score?
Yeah.
Because that's going to end this podcast. I think we knew that there wasn't much with this, which is why we made it a shorter episode. But I think we talked about it enough. Could you imagine us having to talk about this for another 25 minutes or whatever?
Oh, I could rip it apart for another 25 minutes. But
I don't think you could, because I would just come in and unrip it. I would sew it up or whatever.
Yeah.
So, hey, stick with us. You're still listening to The Common Critic. What we're going to do is we're going to split this up into 2 episodes. Right. So you may be listening to the end of this episode and then it just goes blank. But the next episode, we're going to have something really special. We're going to go over some movie news, some trailers. There's been a lot of big things coming out here soon. We're going to talk a little about Scarlett Johansson, Emma Watson.
Emma Stone,
sorry. It could have been.
Well, I was going to say Emma Stone. Emma Watson's probably back there somewhere.
Yeah, she probably wants to sue Disney too for something. But we're going to talk about the lawsuit with Disney. And then we have some trailers and upcoming movies we want to talk about and some upcoming Marvel stuff, right?
Yeah.
So, hey, stick with us. You're listening to The Common Critic on the Fed by Ravens Media Network.